Hello guys and welcome back for another episode of Gathering Rust Hobby Farm. We are loaded up to take the tractor down to my father-in-law's place. Today we are going to install the third function valve. And you get a front seat for the DIY installation. I've tried to organize this video in a way that it will be helpful to you when you do your own installation.
Okay guys, we've used these cornhole boards set out here so we can put our parts on them. We don't have a table available, so this is what we're going to use. Here's your part number. That is the third function valve. And we'll open the box together. Okay, we got a parts list. Looks like it's written in Korean. This is a new joystick along with the electronic controller that goes on the front part, which we'll show you later. We've got some hydraulic lines. One, two, three, four, five hydraulic hoses. Six hydraulic hoses. This is the valve itself. Looks like that right there. Well, this sun's really gonna kick me. Blazing. Bag of fittings, all the hardware that goes with it. Got a few zip ties. And this is the control, or the plate that you actually mount it on. So those are the parts. As we open the box, we'll get them set out and organized in a way that'll help us get this installation done as quick as possible. Okay, this is what you get. Just pulled it all out of the box and now I've got it organized. So we will get started here. Okay, first things first, take off whatever implement or attachment you have on the tractor. Pull up your arm. Okay, the very first thing you're going to do, obviously we already took our attachment off for the front, so now we've got open area where we can work. We're going to lower this down all the way so we take the pressure off of it. Watch your hand, Bob.
Bring it on. Where's it going, Dean? Where's it go? Okay.
So when you lower it down using the lever, you're just going to do a circular motion that will release all the pressure. Okay, we got a 12mm wrench. It's a ratchet wrench. You can use a socket or whatever you need. We're just going to take off this front guard right here. Now, once you get it off, you don't need this anymore because you have a new one that's going to replace it. Also, the bolts, you get new bolts too. So, you can do whatever you need to with those. But, they're always good to hang on to. Okay, next, we're going to start removing some hydraulic lines that are going to be replaced with new ones. You're going to need two 19mm wrenches. If you don't have two 19s, you can also use a 3/4. So, that's what we're doing. We're going to take off these two front ones and all this hardware that goes to the cylinder on both sides. Okay, on these bottom parts, 14mm wrench, it'll hold that bottom there so you're not putting as much pressure. I don't know how tight they are, but we're going to find out. Not too bad. Make sure they see what we're doing here. Okay, I took this off of the cylinder. It's connected to this line, which runs all the way over to here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this side line right here.
I wish we'd have a big box or something, but I don't have them. Yeah.
So you're leaving the L bracket on there, or the L, not bracket, but fitting.
After removing the hose from the cylinder, then we're going to remove the hard line from the top hard line. If you choose to, you could take out this step and just go ahead and remove the line all the way up to the quick disconnect, which will be in my next step.
Okay, so you can see I pulled that whole line off, hanging, looks like a U, a horseshoe. Right now I'm just going to put it somewhere so it can drain. going to do the same thing on the other ones. The upper one goes to the second set of hydraulic lines. The bottom ones go to the front one. Just keep that in mind for later use. Okay. There you go. That's the easiest way to remove them. Okay, the next step, we're going to take off these two hard lines here. And it's just a 12 millimeter on this little bracket here. I'm just going to break them loose, this little bracket, and then I'm going to take these lines and break them loose from the lines there. Remember, the green one stays on top.
What was that? Red? Buddy, they had her tight, didn't they? Green top, red second down.
Green on top, red second down. Okay, we got our,
Oh, that just goes in their place, is that what you're saying?
yeah, these, okay, we got the two hard lines that are provided, and the biggest difference is that they have these little fittings on the bottom so you can hook your other lines to them. The existing ones do not have those fittings on the bottom, and they are shorter than the existing lines. So we'll put those on right now. Okay, now we're just gonna take this bracket loose more so we can get these lines out.
Shoot about let that top and go.
That's the old line. That's the old line, the second one. a shorter one and a longer one. Longer one goes in first, and the fitting goes down on the bottom. I'm just going to put them in place. And then tighten this bracket back up.
You got your length right, don't you?
Huh?
You got your length right.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to tighten it all the way. I'm just going to tighten it enough to keep them in place.
Yeah.
I got these ratchet wrenches for Father's Day, and I just love them. Some people hate them, but I love them.
I do too. I like them.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead for my sanity, keep things straight, take the black cap off, and I'm going to go ahead and hook this line up.
You got the green?
This is the red.
Red.
The red goes on number 2 line. 1, I'm starting at the top, 1, 2, and then there's 3 and 4 that we're not messing with. So we're doing the red. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten those down.
I don't know what you used there, Lord, though.
3/4 and 19 millimeters. Now remember, there's tight and there's too tight. Okay, we're going to do the top line, which I'm calling number 1, which is the green hose coming out of the back here that's hooked into the quick snap.
I like the way you done that. You don't pull your hoses tight. But you're leaving the way you done it.
Yep.
If you get them tight, you're gonna pull. Pull the hose apart or whatever, you know. That's why it's best. And you got stops just the way it is.
Okay.
Okay, now you're going to go back to your parts and you're going to get this little packet with the bolts and the little brackets.
Okay, so I opened the bag that had the little brackets in it. You have 4 shorter bolts and 4 longer ones, and I'll show you exactly where all those go. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do, remember these brackets that we had here? There's one with 2 nuts that are welded to the piece here. I'm going to go ahead and put these on the line while I'm working with them. Okay, I took that bracket and I put it in the lines there. I'm sliding the one with the nuts on the back, and then I might get one of those.
Now use 2 of the shorter bolts to connect these 2 brackets together.
Now, I'm not tightening it down, I'm just getting it in there. I got them in there, just don't tighten them down because you're going to want a little bit of flexibility to move them back and forth still as you hook these lines up. One recommendation might be this bucket level indicator. It's just a pin down here. You can take that out of your way, get it gone, but I haven't yet, so I'm just going to leave it at this point. Okay, so I opened the bag that had the little brackets in it, and I got the 2 hydraulic lines that are straight, okay? There's one longer than the other, and the one that's shorter goes in the front side, and the one that's longer is second. So if you labeled them from front to back, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1 and 2. Okay, I got my 2 lines. Like I told you, the longer one goes in the back side, and then the shorter one goes in the front. Now, there's some fittings on the left side. You want the fittings on the left side that look like a T. That's where you want them. So we're just going to lay them there. And then you have these things, and they've got notches, and each one of the hydraulic lines will go in there. I'm going to sit those right on top. Take this one off. I'm going to get just take that.
Oh, it goes over top.
It goes right over top.
Okay.
So it's going to go right over top and fit in just like that. Okay. On the left side, you want the T's like I just said, but you want to make sure those T's are facing upward before you really get them into place. Okay, now we got the 4 small bolts, the 4 large bolts, and we just put those 2 funny looking things on up there on the lines, and we got our new bracket here. So you can see, I'll show you, there's 3 holes in this, and the center one is larger. So we need 2 of the long bolts. Okay, we got our bracket with the front where the actual third function goes, and I've got my 4 long bolts. Now we already put those funny looking things underneath of here. Okay, so you can see here, we're putting them on the outside bolt holes. Outside bolt holes, the center one will stay open. And we're just going to get them hand tight. Not even hand tight, really. So that's what it'll look like. and you'll have 2 open holes in the middle. Okay, so now we're going to assemble the actual valve and put all the fittings on it. So you got all your fittings over here. There's 4 that are the same size and 2 that are a different size. The 2 that are a different size go on your quick connects. This is a bag of like washers. They're like washer sealers. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but they look like washers, and on the inside they've got like a gasket ring. So you got 6 of those, and you got 1 for each of those. They go, I'll show you in just a second. So you take off the cap. I'm not sure what size. I suppose there's probably some fluid in there, so I'm trying to keep it level. That helps if you just go ahead and put them on there. Okay, we got our valve here. I put the 2 on the top, and those are the smaller ones. You can see that this valve is to the left, okay? Don't go by the little label, it's upside down. Okay, these 2 on the top are the smaller ones. There's 4 of them, okay? Now I'm going to pull these ones on the front off. There's 1. And these fittings are the same size. Remember, there's 4. They go on the front, top and front. And I already put that little gasket on the back. Your hands get greasy, it's hard to do this. Now, perfect example, that cap came off, but that little rubber gasket did not. Make sure you take that off, because we're putting one back on. And you tighten it down just a little bit. 19 millimeter. Oh look, I messed up on the top. I left that little gasket on there. We're going to take it off. These are my mistakes. That's why I'm doing this video, so you can learn from my mistakes. Take that little gasket off there. We still have the supplied gasket. Okay. I'm not torquing them, I'm just getting them tight. Now, What I'm going to do at this point, because it's getting slippery, is I'm going to open this little bracket piece. It's got 2 bolts in a little square piece of metal there, rectangle maybe. So the little square piece with the 2 holes, it goes up and down. It's going to go right there. But it goes on the back. Easiest way, feed your bolt through. Put it on the back. Just tighten it down. Get your other bolt. Line it up. Okay, you can see here we got 3 sets of hoses. The first one we're going to start with is the smaller set, and both sides have the L shapes on them right there. So that's where we're going to start. We need those 2. Now you take all the little black caps off, and then on these hard lines, we're going to take the caps off of those too. Okay, you got 2 lines. One is longer than the other. And on this, it's 881030093110. That's the longer of the 2. 9310. 9310 goes on the back and the outside. So, okay, we've got it on there, but we're not going to tighten it up. And then we're going to go on the back hard line and in the T shape right in the middle. There's it there. So it'll look like that. It's on the back and on the outside. Then we'll take the smaller one. This is 8536300930. That's 9030. It's the shorter of the 2. And it goes on the inside. I say inside, I mean closer to this way. And on the front hard wire. Okay, next we have 2 lines, and they're pretty much the same size. As a matter of fact, they're exactly the same part number, so they're exactly the same. One is straight, the other has like an L on it. Okay, you got your hose here, and you got the L shape. The L shape goes down here at the bottom, and the straight side is going to come up here. So we're going to do the one in the back first.
That's the second one, right?
Yeah, I'm on
And this,
number 2.
okay, my elbow goes down there.
That goes over here, Mom.
Both of them go nowhere?
Okay, and the one in the back is going to hook to this top cylinder, well, top part of the cylinder. Okay, before I put the other one on, I'm gonna tighten this one down because it's gonna be near impossible to get to it.
Let me a little bit that front one back. There we go. Makes it a lot easier going back.
Okay, I went ahead and tightened this back one and this hose all together. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this top one too. I think we'll be good there. Now we'll take the other hose, same size, and we'll do the same on the front. Now get them started before you go torquing them down.
Pretty tight, isn't it?
Okay. So they're not together rubbing.
That's the way it's.
Here now, I went ahead and tightened all this down. I opened this up and I ran this one around this way. instead of back here with this other one. I feel like it would actually rub a lot and potentially rub a hole. So that's why I separated them around this way. Okay, now we got 2 more hoses. These are exactly the same part number, exactly the same size. They have an L bracket on one side, or an L shape on one side, and a straight on the other. Okay, we got these 2 little covers on the end of the hard wire that we just put in up here. Take all the caps off. Okay. Okay. Now, we're basically going to go from here to here. The L shape goes on here, and the straight piece goes up here. Okay, so I'm going to start on the outside one. The outside one goes on number 2 in the back one.
Yep.
A little bit of crud in it. Now we can turn it. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down. Unfortunately, no fast way to do it. Use the old wrench.
Much room, or no room for nothing else, are there?
I left this loose because I don't know where that hose is going to go. Okay, second hose, same thing. This time I'm going to try a little different process. I'm going to go in reverse. Okay, that worked better because I can twist the whole line instead of trying to get my fingers back in there. Got to hold the nut that's attached to the line so it doesn't curl itself when you're tightening. Okay, outside goes to number 2, inside goes to number 1. Okay folks, you remember the original lines that we had? So the ones on the right side, these hoses right here, you actually have to reuse. So I'm going to take those off and I'm going to put them back on here. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Same thing here. We'll start here. This is the top one. Now we'll get the other one off of the original line there. Remember the top one, same as the other side, goes to the number 2, the one in the back.
I think we're about done with our hoses.
We are about done with those. Okay. Straight one goes on the cylinder. L bracket goes on the hard line. Okay, now we're just going to tighten down all the hoses and the brackets. First I'm going to tighten down this. As long as you got your hoses where you want them, I'm pretty comfortable with where they are.
I have seen these loops before. For this track, I've seen loops, but what that is, it bracket in there. Not that. At least we tap there.
Okay, got those 4 tightened down. Now, you should have 2 remaining bolts. There's 2 of the shorter ones. They go in the center. There's 3 bolts all together. There's a center hole that I showed you earlier. This bolt just goes down in there and holds it too. Okay, got everything tightened up now. On these bolts here, it's all tightened up. So that's not coming off there. I'm going to tighten those down. I think we already did, but let's double check.
I don't think you force that. They were tough. Yes, sir. I mean, I just never get a rocket in or something to do it. They were tough, I told you that. I don't think anything pressure is good for. It's a lot, ain't but.
Okay, all the brackets are tight, all the bolts are tight there. See, I'm holding that top piece so it don't spin around too. I'm going to leave those 2 loose till we get the next part done.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all there is to the hoses. Next, we move on to the electronics. Okay, Bob. Okay, next we're going to get our electronic wire here, and it's got your electronic module, and we're going to get this thing ran, tied up, so we can put on the new joystick with the third function button, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Okay, as we unfolded this, we got two different sections. So on this part right here, I'm just gonna unclip it. Just press down right there, pull. This piece goes under the hood. This piece goes here in the front, and we're gonna run this first. Okay. You got a little tiny screw on the front side. That's how you'll know it's the front. And it just goes, plugs in right here. It's gonna point this way. There's a little cap. This white cap just comes off. And then there's 3 prongs. So the wire's gonna run that way. Press it on there firmly. And then we're getting the screwdriver, we're gonna screw that top piece on right there.
Really bent this though. I don't know, Dan, this may be too big. And it's bent.
That's okay, we just. Okay, we're just Phillips head. Just screw that in after you press it in. Don't go too tight, you'll crack it. Okay. Now you take this wire here, just run it however you choose. Okay, we got it plugged in here. We ran the wire up through here, and there it is. So we're going to check and see where the other one goes to and if that'll work out for us. Next, we got to raise the hood. Pull your latch, push your plate forward, and your release is right next to the emergency brake.
Well, that's neat.
Okay, we're down by the battery. I'm going to pull this up and just take it off. We're going to pull it. Okay, we're just going to take the positive post off and hook.
You want to take it on,
No, just take that nut off.
put the cable in.
Okay, the shorter wire, the long one goes on the positive. Make sure it's showing red right here.
Okay, so here you just put the nut back on the battery. but I didn't think about the next step, which is put the cap back on the battery post here. So I had to go back and untighten or loosen, as you see here, that nut again, and then I had to move this over in line with the battery terminal wire there. That way the cap, when it goes back on, it will be able to clip onto the battery post there. And so don't make that mistake. That's why I'm sharing this with you, so you don't make the mistakes I did. But you have to turn it in line with the battery cable.
Is that the ground or the hot needle?
The ground.
Okay.
13mm. Okay, so over here is your harness that I just hooked to the battery. This hose, or this is the wiring. There's a main wiring harness that runs underneath the control, or I'm sorry, runs underneath the radiator, and there's some styrofoam down there, and the main wiring harness runs right there, and I ran it down underneath there just like the main wiring harness. Matter of fact, it's right next to it. So as you can see, it came out underneath where the main wiring harness is here, and I'm just going to pull it on through just like that. Okay, so there's your main wiring harness right there, and I'm just going to zip tie to it. Okay.
Back to show your shirt is soaking wet.
Bob says I'm sweating. I don't know. That's okay. That means we're working hard. That's okay. It's hot out here. We got one piece left. Okay, we got one piece left. We've got a couple of little things to hook up, but one major piece left. That's the new control. You got the third function button on the front and two little pigtails. So we have to remove this one. There's two little bolts right here. Once we remove those, then I'll show you the next bit. Oh, by the way, 10 millimeter. If you got sockets or power tools to remove it, that's fine. Okay, both bolts out. Seal just comes off. Now there's a rubber piece here. You just basically pull that rubber piece up. And you gotta pull it out over this lock. This little L-shaped bracket here. There we go. Then you literally can pull it all the way up. Out of the way. This bolt right here, you gotta take it off. So, see what size it is. Okay, 7/8 fits it. Well, that was real easy. It wasn't that tight. That surprises me. Now you're literally just gonna twist on the handle. So you can also take this on the top there. It's only gonna go so far, and then you can try to twist it. Eventually, it'll turn. Just be very careful not to break them knuckles. You break those, you're in trouble. There it is. Now take that, you got to take that off of there because you'll need it on the next one. Just pull that through the bottom. You'll also use that.
I tell you what, that little feather sure gets your heart right there.
Okay. Took the nut off of this. We won't need that no more. Get your new one. You'll want to put it on the bottom. That'll be your lock nut. Or go ahead and spin it up close to the top. Okay, you got your cord here. Before you do anything with that, you'll twist this on.
Just hold it straight up and it'll not wind itself up. And that's basically as far as we're going to get it. So you're going to line the little piece to the front, the little button to the front. You take your lock nut, you're going to tighten it down.
I forgot to put this on. So I'm going to try to put it down over top. I don't know if it'll work.
That not know it not, screw off.
Might start over.
this video, so you don't do these mistakes. And you got right. You don't do mistakes. Yeah, that's a good tool deal right there. Well, you can take all off if you want to.
You can't add to it, can you? But you can take it off.
Put your wire down through. Okay, we'll try this again. Bob, you learn what not to do?
I'm trying.
Okay, next part is your wire, which you could run down like this, straight down through there. But personally, I'm gonna go a step further. There's a little hole right here. I'm just taking a regular Phillips or regular screwdriver, and I'm popping a hole through the plastic. When you run these down, put one down through, push one up. That way you've only got one going through the hole first. Once you get that one through, you go right on down. So it's inside, protected by that. Hold that down. Find a little slit. Goes down over there. And then there's a little lip right here that you push it down over and make it flush like that. There it is. Put your cover back on. That's the handle. Now you got this cord. Run it however you want. Okay, here's the cord. That's 2 pigtails. You can run it however you want up under here. I'm going to run it with those 2 green wires There's 2 green wires right here. Okay, right here I connected the 2 parts that we took together, the electronic control that took to the battery, took to the front, and the pigtails run off of that. Alright folks, there it is, and now you have it. There's really nothing to it, and anyone can do it. Third function valve on the Rk25. Not too bad. Hopefully this video will show you some things to do and some things not to do. And final thing here, just make sure you get all your hoses tight. Check your hydraulic fluid before you hook up any other attachments to operate the third function, whatever you're going to be using. And make sure that there are no leaks before you head out into the working world of grapples or whatever it is you're going to be using. So, really appreciate you watching this video. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please drop them down below. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for joining us here on Gathering Rust Hobby Farm.